नमो अरिहन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो उवचायाणं नमो लोए सवसाहुणम्. जय जिनेन्द्र सभी को. So let's have everybody's videos on. And आज हम प्रश्न उत्तर के समरीज करेंगे. तो पहले दो प्रश्न से स्टार्ट करते हैं. अगर जरूरत पड़ेगी तो ही हम इन प्रश्नों को पढ़ेंगे और नहीं तो उसके सिर्फ हम डाउट्स क्लियर करेंगे.
Okay, I'm going to start with question 1. Let me read the question at least so we have some sense.
Sure, read the question and then answer. You can just summarize because हाँ वो लंबा होता है ना.
प्रश्न 1 is समयसार गाथा 308 से 311 की टीका में समागत जिन पंक्तियों को क्रमबद्ध पर्याय के समर्थन में प्रस्तुत किया जाता है उनका आशय तो मात्र इतना ही है कि जीव अजीव नहीं है और अजीव जीव नहीं है. उसमें तो मात्र दो द्रव्यों की भिन्नता बताई है. उसमें से पर्याय क्रमबद्ध ही होती है. यह बात कहाँ निकलती है? So the point is that these gathas only talk about jeev not being ajeev and ajeev not being jeev. So where is Krambaddha Paryay in that? Because there is no singular word of use called Krambaddha Paryay. So the person who's having the doubt is asking, please explain how does this Krambaddha Paryay be explained in those gathas? How do we know they are talking about that? So in this, for the explanation of this, they say, जीव अपने क्रम निश्चित परिणमन से उत्पन्न हो.
Oh, we lost. You're cutting in and out.
Oh, my internet is unstable. I'll go to the other room.
Okay.
1 second.
So you see, इसमें almost 4 pages they have taken, 3 pages at least, or almost, yes, 4 pages to explain the answer. So yes, this will save us a lot of time क्योंकि हम quickly summarize करेंगे और फिर उसको थोड़ा सा और समझ लेंगे, ठीक है ना? So yeah.
So here, I'm sorry about that. Should I start with the question or just?
No, it's fine. I just answer.
Okay. जीव अपने क्रम निश्चित परिणमन से उत्पन्न होता है, अजीव नहीं. And अजीव भी अपने परिणमन से उत्पन्न होता है, जीव नहीं. So the points that they are making in this gatha actually are more than just कि दोनों भिन्न है. And those points are, the first one of course is दो द्रव्य भिन्न है. The next point they make is द्रव्य के परिणमन की व्यवस्था भी निश्चित हो जाती है. The third point they make is एक द्रव्य दूसरे द्रव्य का कर्ता हर्ता नहीं. Each द्रव्य is कर्ता हर्ता of its own parinaman. So from these gathas, these are the things that you will realize as you do chintan of those gathas. The fourth point is parinaman is vyavasthit and nishchit. Ajiv is akarta. Now the next point is parinaman apne mein hota hai. So जीव does not become ajiv with parinaman and vice versa. तो उसमें अच्छा एग्जाम्पल दिया है कि ज्ञान गुण जो है, इट इज उसकी कुमति पर्याय जो होती है वो सुमति ज्ञान
ही बदलता है
की सुमति ज्ञान अगले क्षण में बन सकती है और केवल ज्ञान स्वरूप अगले क्षण में केवल ज्ञान स्वरूप भी बन सकता है. But it cannot become रस रूप और रंग रूप, because रस रूप रंग रूप are अजीव की पर्याय, not जीव की पर्याय. The next thing they talk about is paryay change is not according to our ichha. It is set and it follows that pattern. Jeev does. So the good of this is that Jeev does not carry the bhar or weight of the parinaman. Just like Ajeev will not carry the bhar of that parinaman, So सहजता से ही सब परिणमन होता है. Now, just because parinaman is sahaj does not mean they are not important. Instead, what it does is it takes the weight of us, basically. The next point they are making is Dravya Gun and Paryay are Sat. Apne ichha anusar parinaman nahi hota. So mostly that it is Sat, you know. Past, the last three things, even I'm like, okay, so then they say, so can you change the past, present or future? वो आप कर सकते हो कि नहीं? तो बोलते हैं कि past नहीं change कर सकते, so come it has already happened. Present तो हो रहा है तो change नहीं हो सकता क्योंकि again in एक समय वो बदल ही जाएगा. And the last is future का तो पता ही नहीं है तो हम उसके लिए फेरफार करने का क्या सोचे? So those were the points that come out of this question 1.
Okay. So let me quickly give you guys a couple of examples just to understand. So you did a good job, Himal. One other thing you can do is when you're summarizing. So let's say when you read a paragraph, ठीक है? तो उसमें अगर एक point specific explain करा जा रहा है, तो in your book mark number 1, number 2. So then you can go over कि these are the 5 points how they explained answer to this, है ना? So जैसे पहला point था कि बदलता हुआ भी इतना नहीं बदल जाता कि अजीब हो जाए. So that was point number 1. Okay, कि देखो जीव और अजीब. Let's say there's a mango and there's a जीव within the mango. ठीक है, तो जीव का परिणमन अलग चल रहा है और कलर का परिणमन अलग चल रहा है. The जीव in the mango doesn't become the color in the mango. So that is what they're saying. They're independently पर्याय दोनों की हो रही है, पर वो independently बदलती, right? Then the point number 2 was परिणामों का कर्ता तथापि उसे करने का कुछ बोझा उसके माथे पर नहीं है. Now the जीव of the mango doesn't have the भार कि मैं next क्या करूं, next मेरी क्या पर्याय होगी. It independently, it just सहजता से happens. ठीक है. Now फिर third point was कि अपने परिणाम का अधिकृत कर्ता और भोक्ता तो है ही. Still technically it is considered that the reason for its parinaman is the dravya itself. So in the mango's example, the soul of the jeev in the mango is responsible for its own parinaman. The pudgal part, the color, the feel, the softness, that is responsible for its own parinaman. So एक जीव पुद्गल का परिणमन नहीं करवा सकता, अजीव जीव का परिणमन नहीं करवा सकता. They're independent. Okay. Then fourth point is कि भूत, भविष्य, वर्तमान और भविष्य की पर्यायें बदली जा सकती हैं कि नहीं. तो फिर वो एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया, भूत की तो ऑलरेडी बदल चुकी है, अभी चल रही है पर करंट वाली. तो और क्षयोपशम ज्ञान में वो पर्याय उत्पन्न होने के असंख्य समय बाद आती है. सो दैट प्रूव्स द सर्वज्ञता कि उनके ज्ञान में पहले से ही चीजें आ जाती है when it actually happens afterwards. तो जब वो ज्ञान में ही आ चुकी हैं तो it proves that there is no, you cannot change the भविष्य also. So
That's a tough one.
and that's a tough one to gather, of course, but that's when you got to go back to the Panch Samvaya. The reason it is tough is because we feel हमारे पुरुषार्थ से हम भविष्य बदल देंगे.
But Prabhaji, badal to nahi sakte, but our purusharth of now is according
Will
to
apply
our,
definitely.
whatever the end point that will happen to us.
Yes.
That is there.
It's always the contribution is definitely going to be there. पुरुषार्थ के बिना भी काम नहीं होने वाला है.
क्योंकि पुरुषार्थ के हिसाब से ही ऐसे लगता है कि
उसी के हिसाब से पुरुषार्थ अपने आप होगा.
And I think that's what I felt was missing in this one, is that Panch Samvaya did not come up in
They didn't explicitly explain that, but you know, that's what is implied. So because in that this one paragraph they're talking about अहंकार झूठाई से धुआ कि मैंने ऐसा नहीं होने दिया और ऐसा किया क्योंकि जो कार्य संपन्न हुआ है वह नहीं होने वाला था, अन्य होने वाला था, इसका निर्णय कैसे होगा? So
Yeah.
that is where they apply the होनहार कि हो सकता है वही होने वाला हो, but at the same time, see, whenever they talk, because you know when you communicate, you always sometimes you're limited to emphasizing one point over the
It
other.
is samyak ekant.
Yes.
Because
No,
they are
no,
talking.
no,
Sorry,
no.
sorry.
That
It is that thing where they talk, एक की अपेक्षा से बात होती है, बाकी की
अनेकांत
अपेक्षा नहीं होती है।
अनेकांत में एकांत, because you're अपेक्षा देके आप एक बात को कर रहे हो, ठीक है? ओके। अंतगोत्व स्वीकार करना ही श्रेष्ठ है कि प्रत्येक द्रव्य क्रम नियमित अपने परिणामों से उत्पन्न होता हुआ निज रूप ही रहता है।
What are you reading?
So the end result is that you, no matter, see, sometimes you will see chemistry reactions, right? ऐसा नहीं लगता है कि हमने जीव को पैदा कर दिया आजकल, this test tube babies, you know, as if they created the baby. No, उसमें भी जीव अलग ही रहा, उद्गल they created, उसमें जीव जिसको आना था वो आया. So the whole process will make sense to us once we have this knowledge. ठीक है, let's go to question number 2.
So the test tube baby thing example means that was also क्रम निश्चित ही हो रहा है.
हाँ, वो तो सब जगह अप्लाई होगा कि उस बेबी का दिस टेस्ट ट्यूब प्रोसीजर से या IVF whatever the new procedures are coming out, उससे इस जीव को आना था. Now the पुद्गल exactly, I mean I'm sure शास्त्रों में वो भी आ जाता है at what point, because see, there's always a possibility that the Pudgal existed and then the Jeev entered, and vice versa. The Jeev is there and the Pudgal builds around it. Both can happen.
Are there any Hemalji and Prabhaji in these few pages? Are there? Can one quickly point out any statements that can be highlighted?
Oh, the ones I just said were supposed to be highlighted. Okay.
I was trying to keep up. Some I got, some I mean, it's not
Could you
easy.
repeat them again, Prabhaji, please?
Okay, but you know, it takes longer when I try to, you know, ask you guys to find those paragraphs. But okay, let me go. But pay attention. So don't ask me again. Page 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth paragraph. Third line. बदलता हुआ भी इतना नहीं बदल जाता कि वह अजीब हो जाए. यह बात कही जा रही है. Okay. So basically that the gist of that Samay Sargatha that they're talking about is that that, you know, suppose, let's see, जैसे हम chemical reaction नहीं करते हैं कि gold में तांबा मिला दो, so you feel like कि तांबा तो mix up हो गया ना, the end product is that jewelry. But what they're saying is that no, still the tamba particles remain, even though this is ajeev to ajeev, but this is just to give you an example. Tamba particles are going to stay separate, gold particles are separate, उनका अपना स्वयं का परिणमन चलेगा. Even though दिखने में ऐसा लग रहा है कि they both joined together to make that piece of jewelry. Okay. अच्छा, फिर page 71, paragraph 3, top line, अपने परिणामों का करता है तथापि उसे करने का कुछ बोझा उसके माथे पर नहीं है.
Yeah, दूसरा बात यह है. Yeah.
Okay, then next paragraph,
Can
last
can
line.
somebody say where that is again? Sorry, I'm not able to find it.
71, paragraph 3.
दूसरी बात यह है कि
Yes,
yes.
paragraph. And the next paragraph after that, but परिणामन को निश्चित वाला क्योंकि से वो वाला highlight कर लो, वह अपने परिणाम का अधिकृत करता और भोगता तो है ही.
Yep.
Okay, then page 72, paragraph 3 and 4, just sort of put a line just because it talks about who present bhavishya. So just so you know that that thing is said over there.
Is paragraph 3 the Paryay bhi swakal ki sat hai, or paragraph 3 is bhutkal?
Bhutkal, right. Okay. Then
which one is paragraph 3 of these two?
4, then okay, let's see. 5, then 6th paragraph. दूसरी बात ये भी तो है कि हमारे क्षय उपशम में वह पर्याय उत्पन्न होने की असंख्य समय बाद आती है. That one is paragraph, and that's the 5th point.
Sorry. That one, sorry. I'm so sorry. That one I'm missing. Which page?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6th paragraph. दूसरी बात. The one before the last.
And the 4th point is भूतकाल की पर्याय तो बदल
Yes.
नहीं जा सकती, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, then the 6th point is page 73, 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph. दूसरे क्या आपको पता है कि भविष्य में उन्मुख पर्याय आने वाली है? Just that one sentence you can highlight. Even though you highlight a sentence, but when you go back to it, if that one sentence is not enough, then you read the paragraph. So, and then the 2 paragraphs after that, just the last summarizing statement. प्रत्येक द्रव्य क्रम नियमित अपने परिणामों से उत्पन्न होता हुआ निज रूप रहता है. Just highlight that sentence.
I'm over there, Ananto Gatva. What does that mean?
Antato, to end or summarize.
Oh, summarize. Okay.
मतलब at the end of it, you have to accept that every द्रव्य is क्रम नियमित और अपने अपने परिणामों से उत्पन्न होता है. अपने ही modification से it gets created and stays in its own natural state. It doesn't happen, it doesn't become so par roop means somebody else. What word are we using for par?
And it doesn't.
Anya. They use anya.
No, I'm just trying to think of English translation, but that's okay. When we are focusing on that, then we'll come.
Non-self.
So it won't become non-self. Okay. Okay, let's go to the page, whatever. We spent about 10, 12 minutes on this. Okay, let's go.
This was the question anyway. So
yes.
the rest.
Question 2 is यदि कोई किसी को नहीं परिणमाता तो फिर यह परिणमन होता कैसे है? इसे कौन कर जाता है? यदि कभी यह परिणमन रुक जाए तो, अथवा कभी धीरे धीरे हो और कभी तेजी से, इसका नियामक कौन होगा? Is the question. तो उसके जवाब में कहते हैं, so how does this parinaman occur? Who does it? What if it stops? What if it goes slow or fast? Who decides all this? So the answer is, every dravya is parinamanshil, and parinamanshilta is the nature of dravya. So none is needed for this to happen. It never stops because it is nitya. Then each paryay can last only one samay. So there is no question of going fast or slow, is what he is explaining. And each dravya has ananta shakti that is constantly being used, and which results in the parinaman that occurs sahaj se. I didn't know what ullasit meant, so I called it expressed. I don't know what ullasit means. But that's the answer to the question. That's question 2.
That's correct. That each Shakti is being expressed.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Okay. So isme I want you to highlight ek to the first sentence, pratyek dravya swayam parinamanshil hai. Dhruvta ke saman parinaman bhi uska swabhav hai. ठीक है? That only up to there. Then next page 74. Just these 4 words, स्वभाव पर निरपेक्ष ही होता है.
What does that mean?
I'll tell you. Swabhav means nature of things does not need apeksha, does not need reason, doesn't need a viewpoint, does not need anything. It is what it is. There is no need for explaining it. It's like there is no explanation why fire is hot. It is, that is it.
Where is this in?
First
वो
sentence.
top of first sentence 74.
क्योंकि.
Oh, got it.
But what does parnirpeksh mean? Means
That
not
somebody
needed.
else doesn't have to do anything for the nature to happen. So that's why for my soul, you or anybody else cannot do anything.
Can we say
Just like
Swabhav
we
is
cannot stop the
unbiased?
fire from being hot.
Yeah, swabhav
Or
is
nobody
swabhav.
else.
There is it just is.
It is. There is no apeksha, there is no reason, there is nothing for Swabhav. So that's a very profound statement, and you should know that and believe that.
The nirpeksh is you cannot do anything.
Par nirpeksh.
Par
Par se nirapeksha hai.
nirpeksha.
It doesn't have dependence of anybody. Even though apeksha can be viewpoint sometimes, apeksha can be garaj, like, nahi bolte mujhe usse apeksha hai, usse mujhe
Yeah, expectation.
I'm expecting
Yeah. So no
like my
dependence.
kids to serve me like that. Okay, then the paragraph after that, just highlight कौन करता है, उसका जवाब में last 5 words सब सहज होता रहता है. Okay, let's go to the next question.
So ma'am, here उल्लासित हो रही है. So here again, उल्लासित means निरंतर change, I guess.
No, nirantar expressed.
Okay, उल्लासित means expressed over
Yes.
here. Okay, fine. Just a second. Expressed. Okay. Do I read the Prashna number 3?
Yes, read Prashna and explain. You got very short.
I know.
You must
चलो
snog
कोई
all
बात
men
नहीं को.
to do.
चलो ये तो मैं ही पढ़ देती हूँ. Okay, Dolly, no escape. Next time 4 पेज वाला ले लेना. वे अनंत शक्तियां कौन कौन सी हैं जिनके द्वारा ये सब होता है? Now it's a trivial answer. Anant means infinite.
You know, the style of,
अनंत भी गिनाई जा सकती है.
the style of writing is so interesting.
So it's like so trivial. Why are you asking this question? Okay. Then the next 4th question is, कुछ तो बताइए. This questioner is also like, okay. So now he's going to try to explain the Ananta Shaktiyan. So
Yes.
Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti, Bhav Shakti, Abhav Shakti. I'm trying to confuse the questioner now.
So crazy now, my
Bhav,
God.
Bhav Shakti, Abhav, Adi. He's really given the answer to confuse the guy more. Okay. So since those are mentioned here, I'll quickly tell you. Bhav means existence. भाव का ही अभाव होता है. Now, मरीचि की पर्याय, जो महावीर भगवान की मरीचि की पर्याय थी ना, उस मरीचि की पर्याय का भाव था, उसमें महावीर की पर्याय का अभाव था. Do you understand?
Say that again.
So the soul has the power or shakti, whatever, to कि भाई जब मरीचि का जन्म था, right now you're Rupal, right? So Rupal की पर्याय में, let's say in future you're going to be some male in the next janam. तो उस मेल की पर्याय का अभाव है.
Got it.
Male पर्याय is non-existent in Rupal's पर्याय, and vice versa. Now,
Prabhaji, I have a question. This is basically that thing, no? Present paryay mein future paryay nahi aati.
Correct.
yes.
Right? So right now future paryay ka abhav hai.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Abhav. Correct.
Right now mere mein future paryay ka abhav hai. So that's the abhav
Mhm.
shakti being expressed.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Now it's very complicated. I mean, there's like pages and pages and like days that are spent on understanding these Shaktiya. But like, for example, जब शेर का अभाव होगा, so महावीर भगवान की शेर की पर्याय थी when he got the सम्यक दर्शन. So that was like भाव. then तब महावीर बनेंगे. That is अभाव भाव. Means शेर का अभाव, महावीर का भाव. Got
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, the English translation for this book has it explained well, because I had to go to the English one after a point.
Oh,
'cause
that's wonderful. I mean, yeah, if you want to quickly read that paragraph, I'm just giving you guys
Actually,
examples.
Prabhaji, I just want to say that Seema ji didn't send me the audio recording, तो हम question 5 और 6 पढ़ लेते हैं class में.
ठीक है, ठीक है. चलो तुम जल्दी से ये पढ़ लो अपना. Yeah, because I didn't realize these were so short.
तो
She
अगर
was
नहीं
going
है
to do
तो
7 and 8, which were longer.
So Nipa is prepared with 7 and 8, but let's read the 5 and 6.
Okay, let's
because
read
she's-
those. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
चलो
order
ठीक है.
में ही जाएगा फिर.
Order नहीं जाएगा. Fine. Then they give assigned Seema something else then.
हाँ,
And
हाँ,
same
ठीक.
thing Dolly ji will do.
Okay, okay.
I'd like to take something on, please.
Yes, at the end of the class. Let's stay
Okay.
with the question
Chalo,
5.
read this bhav above in English, so it's good idea to get more clarification.
So question 5 मैं पढ़ लेती हूँ फिर.
Are
पर्यायों
you
के
reading from
उत्पाद
English?
और
Wait.
नाश.
I thought Rupal was reading the English paragraph for it.
हम अगर
Are
हिंदी में
you?
question
Or I
बोल
have it
देती
in front of me. If you want, I'll read it.
हाँ, बोल दो आप.
Okay, one second. We are at question
5.
It
Page
is
74
acceptable
question.
sound
Page
modifications.
74,
When
page
is
question
everything?
5.
Rupal ji, wait please. Let her read the question.
Yes, yeah. I'm just helping her. Where
Sorry. Yes.
What page did you say it was?
page 74, and then at the bottom, page.
No. English. I wanted you to read the English answer.
You want me to read it? Oh, page 93. So I'll read.
Yeah,
What is
what page is it? Just so I have it open.
93?
93? Oh, okay. I've gone too far. Okay, go ahead. Start reading.
Could we please start with the question, because that's our format?
Yeah, go ahead. Read the question in English and then answer.
That is the way we were planning. What is the contribution of these powers in the origination and destruction of modifications? Each substance has a power by which it exists with its present modification. That is to say, it has its own definite state of being. This is called Bhav Shakti. Each substance has such a power also by which no other state except the present modification operates. That power is called Abhav Shakti. Each substance has every moment a definite modification and not any other on account of the above 2 powers.
Okay, fine. So that was 5. That was not 4. So 4 में तो सिर्फ नाम ही दिए हैं उन्होंने इंग्लिश में.
Correct.
So let's quickly read this Hindi also. पर्यायों के उत्पाद और नाश में इन शक्तियों का क्या योगदान है? कृपया संक्षेप में बताइए. See, because हम क्रमबद्ध पर्याय की बात कर रहे हैं, तो that question arises. प्रत्येक द्रव्य में एक ऐसी शक्ति है जिसके कारण द्रव्य अपनी वर्तमान अवस्था से युक्त होता है, अर्थात उसकी निश्चित अवस्था होती है. उसे भाव शक्ति कहते हैं. So every समय that specific state, for that to happen, it uses this bhav shakti. Okay.
Yeah, so actually in every moment you basically have Bhav Shakti and Abhav Shakti, right?
Abhav shakti basically makes you not be something else, be yourself. And bhav shakti makes you be
So
yourself.
they have to operate simultaneously.
Simultaneously, of
That
course.
is
I mean, all shaktis operate all the time.
All are operating.
Yes. प्रत्येक द्रव्य में एक ऐसी शक्ति होती है जिसके कारण वर्तमान अवस्था के अतिरिक्त अन्य कोई अवस्था नहीं होती. इस शक्ति का नाम अभाव शक्ति. ठीक है. तो दोनों शक्तियों के कारण प्रत्येक द्रव्य की गति समय सुनिश्चित पर्याय ही होती है, अन्य नहीं. Then 6. Okay, somebody else read the 6th question.
हिंदी में पढ़ते हैं.
Paryay. So I can do that. पर्याय को स्व समय में कौन लाता है और एक समय बाद कौन हटाता है? पर्याय स्व समय में आ ही जावे और अगले समय हट जाए, इसका नियामक कौन है? यदि पर्याय स्व समय पर न आए तो उसे कौन लावे और एक समय बाद भी न हटे तो कौन हटाए? ऐसी स्थिति में या तो द्रव्य पर्याय से खाली हो जाएगा या एक समय में दो पर्यायों हो जाएंगी. So that's the prashna. So the question in English is, who fetches the modification at the fixed time and who removes it from that after one samay, who is the controller for the modification appearing in its own time and disappearing after one samay? If the modification does not appear in its time unit, who will bring it? And if it does not disappear after that time unit, who will remove it? In that case, either the substance will be bereft of modifications, or there will be two modifications in one and the same time unit. The answer. Should I continue in English and then we go back to Hindi, or?
Read Hindi first, please.
Okay. उत्तर, इसकी आप चिंता न करें, ऐसी कभी नहीं होगा, क्योंकि प्रत्येक द्रव्य में एक ऐसी भी शक्ति है जिसके कारण वर्तमान पर्याय का नियम से आगामी समय में अभाव हो जाएगा। उस शक्ति का नाम है भावाभाव शक्ति, तथा एक शक्ति ऐसी भी है जिसके कारण आगामी समय में होने वाली पर्याय नियम से उत्पन्न होगी ही। इस शक्ति का नाम है अभाव भाव शक्ति। जो पर्याय जिस समय होनी है वह पर्याय उस समय नियम से होगी ही। ऐसे भी एक शक्ति प्रत्येक द्रव्य में है जिसका नाम है भाव भाव शक्ति, तथा एक शक्ति ऐसे भी है कि जिसके कारण जो पर्याय जिस समय नहीं होनी है वह नियम से नहीं होगी। उस शक्ति का नाम है अभावा भाव शक्ति। उक्त छह शक्तियों का स्वरूप यह सुनिश्चित सिद्ध करता है कि जिस द्रव्य की जो पर्याय जिस समय अपने उपादान के अनुसार जैसे होती है वह स्वयं नियम से उसी समय वैसे ही होती है, उसमें पर की रंच मात्र भी अपेक्षा नहीं रहती। That is very well. I mean, it's I think very simply.
This doesn't need to be read in English. It's quite well explained.
Not the first paragraph, the uttar, abhav shakti, bhava bhav shakti. I'm not understood.
Okay, basically what they're saying is कि जो पर्याय जिस समय होती है, पहली बात तो उन्होंने ये स्पष्ट कर दिया, nobody else is responsible. It's the dravya itself is responsible. Now they're explaining कि how is dravya, what does dravya have to do? It's like I can walk, right? I have that shakti, I have muscles, I have blood flow, I have all these things to make me walk, right? कोई तो explanation देना पड़ता है ना, तो वहां ये बोल रहे हैं कि जो पर्याय जिससे उसके explanation ये है कि जीव में एक भाव भाव शक्ति है, which makes it that same paryay happen at that time. And every dravya have that. Now, when we call every dravya have that, that means these are all, remember we talked about samanya gun? Dravya, वैसे ही there are lot of shaktiyan that are present in every dravya. There will be some that are not present in Pudgal, only in Atma and things like that. But when they say कि प्रत्येक द्रव्य में है, that means it's सामान्य. So even Pudgal has this ability कि उसकी पर्याय नियम से होगी जिस समय होनी है, ठीक है? वैसे ही अभाव भाव शक्ति will stop any other पर्याय to happen. And इसमें काल जुड़ गया, जिस समय होनी, तो उसी समय में दूसरी कुछ नहीं होगी, उस शक्ति को अभाव भाव शक्ति कहेंगे. You're breaking up, Dolly. तब तक हम last paragraph पढ़ लेते हैं. Maybe once she's clear, we'll take her question.
We can't.
Prabhaji, I have a question. What is the example that you had given of bhav abhav shakti?
In the previous question?
No, for this question only. आपने एक तो आपने कुछ examples दिए थे इसके ना?
देखो, भाव भाव
दे दो ना.
हाँ, वो जब शेर का अभाव होगा. That means what time in Mahavir's life, right? जो शेर की पर्याय है, वो जिस समय होनी है उस समय नियम से होगी. अब वो शेर की पर्याय पलट करके जब महावीर बनेंगे तो वो अभाव भाव शक्ति है,
Got it.
उसमें शेर की पर्याय का अभाव है.
Correct.
So this Shakti will be used at that time, that now it's not going to be lion anymore. It's going to be Mahavir.
Which is this Shakti?
Abhav.
Abhav Shakti.
When abhav?
No, Abhava Bhav.
Abhav. Bhav.
Abhav.
Yes.
In this paragraph, we have only two Shaktis they are talking about, right? Bhav Bhav and Abhav Bhav.
So what is the example again now? Sorry.
Mahavir was a lion, then he became a human. That lion stage was gone. So that's Abhav Bhav Shakti.
Okay, when it was in lion state, you couldn't change it to Mahavir state. That is number 3, right there where it says Bhav Bhav Shakti in that paragraph.
Correct.
Okay, now Abhav Bhav Shakti. So now when it, let's say it's in Mahavir's Paryay, that time the lion Paryay has nothing, non-existence. So this Abhav Bhav Shakti is the cause of it.
So first one is Bhav Abhav Shakti, where Sher ki Paryay to Mahavir ki Paryay cannot happen before time.
Yes.
Huh?
And that Shakti is used for it to not interfere, like for it to not happen, कि कोई और पर्याय नहीं आ जाएगी महावीर के टाइम.
हाँ. शेर की पर्याय में कोई और पर्याय नहीं आ सकती है.
नहीं, शेर की पर्याय शेर का जितना काल है उसमें रहने के लिए यूज होगी भाव भाव शक्ति. Okay, now when it becomes Mahavir, the above bhav, even though they're all the Shaktis are always in what do you call it? in
tandem.
In action or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, working in action.
They're always
together
being used
at the same time.
At the same time. But just to give you an example, we said भाव भाव मतलब जब शेर की पर्याय है, जितने काल की तक शेर की रहने वाली है, उस टाइम the भाव भाव शक्ति was used to let it, the शेर पर्याय remain. Now when he became Mahavir, for Mahavir to remain and not Sher to come, Abhav Bhav Shakti is used.
Ma'am, what's the difference between Bhav Bhav Shakti and Bhava Bhav Shakti?
Bhava Bhav has the time factor included.
So wherever you see two together, there's time factor involved.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how I understood the second one now, Prabhaji. Mahavir ki paryay mein Sher ki paryay will not occur at the same time. The time
Yes.
part is important.
The time part is the additional, yes.
At the same time. Okay, got it. Or then the last two ones, that Bhav Bhav Shakti and Abhav Abhav Shakti ke bhi example de do na.
आगे आने वाला होगा, I would think, if they'll explain 4.
नहीं है, पढ़ लिया.
अच्छा. Okay, so Bhav Bhav Shakti mein,
We said that as long as Bhava Bhav Shakti mein, as long as Mahavir stays a lion, no other character can, that's when he's
right. So
Correct.
it's again similar like दूध दही छाछ.
No. What it is saying is, जो पर्याय जिस समय में होनी है वही पर्याय होती है.
वो हो गया, अभी भावा भाव छोड़ दो. Now I'm coming down to the 5th and 6th one that you're asking about.
हाँ, मैं वही पढ़ी, 5th वाली पढ़ी मैं.
5th वाली कहाँ पढ़ी तुमने?
अभी तो पढ़ी, जो पर्याय जिस समय होनी है वह पर्याय उस समय नियम से होगी.
Okay, so bhava bhav and abhava bhav is in the paragraph above.
correct.
Okay.
And Vartaman Paryay. Oh, so in Bhava Bhav, it's about Vartaman Paryay. And
Right.
in Bhav Bhav, it's about the current time point.
Right.
That's the difference.
So ऊपर वाले में current है, उसमें जिस समय जो होनी है.
नहीं, the top one is about जिसके कारण वर्तमान पर्याय का नियम से आगामी समय में अभाव हो जाएगा. Oh, I see. Got
So
it.
you got it? They're all very connected and very similar.
Yeah, they're very connected.
So that is like, I mean, you can take Doodh Dahi example, Bachpan Budhapa example, Mithya Darshan, Samyak Darshan example.
You know what will be helpful? Should one of us try to write an example for all of these four, and then Prabhaji, you can correct it, and then we can post it on the group. That way everyone can
Okay, that would help. Yes.
Yeah,
But I've
yeah. I
also
think
given you
it's
some links applied to Doodh Dahi Chach, applied to Mithya Darshan, Samyak Darshan, young childhood, old age,
Yeah, we'll
and
use
share Mahavir. You can use any of these and then try to fit it within these things.
one example and apply all four elements to it. I think
Exactly.
that's
Yes, let's do that. Chalo, let's go to the last paragraph, and then Nipa will explain the other next two. Okay. I'll just read it. There's not much to this paragraph. सर्वश्रेष्ठ दिगंबर आचार्य कुंद कुंद के प्रसिद्ध परमागम समय सार की आचार्य अमृत चंद्र कृत आत्मख्याति टीका के अंत में परिशिष्ट में समागत 43 शक्तियों पर श्री कांजी स्वामी के विस्तृत प्रवचन आत्म प्रसिद्धि नाम से हिंदी में और आत्म वैभव नाम से गुजराती में प्रकाशित हुए हैं। विशेष जिज्ञासा रखने वाले आत्मार्थी बंधुओं को अपनी जिज्ञासा वहां से शांत करना चाहिए। यहाँ पर उनकी विस्तृत चर्चा के लिए न तो अवकाश ही है और न वह न्याय संगत है। All he's saying is that, which is kind of I join a morning swadhyay, which is what we have done whole Samaysar, and this is towards the end of Samaysar, and Kanji Swami did his pravachans. So somebody decided to take his pravachans. I mean, this is a lot of people have spent a lot of times listening to it and typing it in Hindi and Gujarati. So they've come out with volumes of books of his pravachans. So it's there. So he's just giving you guys a reference. If you're more interested in understanding these more details, then you go there and read. Okay. Okay, Nipa,
okay.
over to you.
Yeah. Okay. So my question was question 7. The प्रश्न, जब हम अपनी पर्याय को भी नहीं बदल सकते, तो फिर हमारे परिणमन के कर्ता भी हम क्या रहे? So, are we really the doers of our own modifications, right? If we can't change anything. So I'll do it like, if I can, by paragraphs. So in the first paragraph, it says, we are unable to change our modifications of Paryay. All this will happen in a deterministic and a sequential manner. There is no karta for all the dravyas in the universe. Each dravya has the 6 shaktis that were explained above, and these shaktis will enable the dravya to modify every moment. In the second part of it, they say, the second and third paragraph is, there is one distinction, which they explain, where the preceding Paryay, right, is the initiator of the next Paryay, and in some sense, it can be called the karta of the next Paryay. From the aspect of like Trikali Upadan, right, that we had learned earlier, the dravya or the gun is the initiator or the doer of the Paryay, and from the, like we have it, like the Trikali Upadan says that it exists.
We've studied all this in the Nimitya.
We've studied all this,
remember?
exactly.
Yes.
And in the Shanik Upadan, the Yogyata is the reason for the Paryay, and also it can be called as a doer, right? But both Trikali and Shanik Upadan are Dravya Gun, and as such, the Dravya is equipped to do its own Parinaman, and this is the nature of the Dravya. The Parinamshilta is the actual nature of the Dravya itself. So the Dravya is fully equipped to do this.
So in this case, the doer is the Shanik Upadan?
For the moment,
conclusion?
Yogyata. Yeah.
That Yogyata is the
Karta. Is the Shanik Upadan.
But because it precedes in reference to that, it's called like that. That the
it's called a doer
is reason for the next Paryay.
Only in that.
Until you cross that, you're not coming. It's like it's going a ladder, right? You cannot come to the third step until you leave the second step. So there's an order.
Yeah. So it's called, I feel like it's called, like in a very conventional way, it's the doer. But at the end of the day, the way I rationalized it is that because both these upadans are still the dravya gun, they're still the dravya is capable fully to do its own parinaman, right?
That's why the dravya is the doer, because both are
it's its own doer
of the dravya.
Paryay dravya ki hi hai.
Paryay
हाँ,
dravya ka hi hai. Exactly.
Can
Then
you-
the, on page 77, so every moment, that first paragraph, every moment of the existence of any dravya, there is parinaman or modification. And if it stops for even a moment, then the existence of the dravya may stop itself. Example of the blood running through your system, what happens is stop. And then in my head, I was thinking, which you can help later, is but it does stop one day. And then the, the parinaman of our Pudgal and Jeev, right? I mean, we're
Continues.
transmigrating somewhere else. And so, but he's just talking that the blood has the gun of just constantly flowing through our systems, basically.
Right. And nothing we are doing about it. Is the
We're
point
not doing anything.
that to make you feel that really you can't do anything. You can't even do anything to keep yourself alive. Even that's autopilot.
That's auto. Exactly. So everything will flow. And if it stops, then at that point, the very existence of that dravya, right? Because if it's the swabhav and the swabhav stops, then the existence of that dravya also stops. Dravya Shakti, and then in that last, the third paragraph, that page, Dravya Shakti drives the parinaman. It does not get tired. It does not stop, right? The Dravya Shakti itself. It is natural. The Shakti itself is not forced. So it is pretty much intrinsic to the Dravya itself, right? It's part of Dravya. A world without a doer is what we are a part of. So we are a part of a world without a doer. So that was the sixth.
But the dravya is the doer of its own parinaman. So why
Yes.
you're saying world without dravya, a doer?
No, there are there are no doers like karta.
What they're
harta.
saying
You're
is
right. The dravya is
sahajta se it will
parinamin,
keep
but it's with
happening.
sahajta. It's not like a doer. It has its own gun of
It's like
parinamin.
fire is hot. Nobody has to do something to make it hot.
Yeah.
Same
There are
way
no
dravya
doers.
ki
It's the
intrinsic
swabhav.
qualities hai to keep changing forever. See, if
Uska
somebody is
swabhav hai,
doing it,
isliye there is no doer.
There is no
right.
doer. Yeah.
Then I mean, if somebody else has to do it, they will get tired at some point. Something may change. So they're trying to make you understand that
Yeah.
there is, because it's an intrinsic quality. It's never going to change. It's never getting tired.
It
It's
just keeps going.
just stays.
It's like that Energizer bunny that never stops.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Only in the ad.
Only in the ad. And Swabhav, that's why, remember, I made you guys highlight that very
Yeah.
boldly. स्वभाव पर निरपेक्ष ही होता है. स्वभाव को किसी की जरूरत नहीं.
Automatically.
Automatic. तो इसीलिए to go into your स्वभाव is natural.
But I liked what Hemalji said, right? Because it is our nature, therefore there is no doer.
Exactly.
Which is a very interesting, it's a very fine concept, right? So so if we say that, okay, so I know my hair turned white, right? So it's not really my Atma, that is the nature of my
But
Atma.
this is the nature of the hair to turn after a while, whatever उसका जब जिस टाइम में जो पर्याय आनी है, उसकी भाव शक्ति से वो आ जाती है.
So if the statement is made that that true or false is dravya, the karta of its parinaman, is it true or false?
That is true. That is still true.
Yeah, because dravya ki
because it's
swabhav and
using
dravya
its
ki shakti
shaktiyan
hai.
for it to happen. So let's say जिस age पे it was going to turn from black to gray. So tell me now, which shakti did it use to do that?
Turn from black. It was the shakti.
Gray.
At
At age, let's say 43.
No, whatever.
Decided
So
to do that.
okay, so at the future or present?
No, it's that bhav shakti. जो पर्याय जिस समय होनी है, वह पर्याय उस समय नियम से होगी.
Correct.
So if it was going to do it at 43, it's only going to do it at 43. And dravya
That is bhav shakti.
वहाँ use होगी.
That is bhav shakti.
Yes. And it's present in the dravya itself. So nobody else is making your hair gray. Is this happening?
And the abhav shakti would be hair did not turn gray at 43.
Yes. No, did not stay black. That part
Stay
of
black.
the roots or
I
whatever.
think,
it
yeah,
is.
let's try to come up with one example that explains bhav, bhava, and all of that.
Yeah.
I hope that's all.
Okay. Should I go to question 8?
Yes.
Okay. So the प्रश्न, जब हम पर का कुछ कर नहीं सकते तो फिर हमारी स्वतंत्रता ही क्या रही? So like, how are we considered to be independent? So this one I give a more, oh yeah, wow, I wrote so much. Okay. So we look at freedom of free will as an ability to change the circumstances for others. It is based on our pride, that ahankar, of being the doers for others. KBP, on the other hand, is negating this concept of doership, since there are no doers in this world, which is self-modified. This is actually more freeing, since it removes the shackles of others controlling us or we controlling others as doers. It creates an intrinsic independence that is more powerful, and with Purusharth, we can divert all our energy that is generally spent in the thought of doership and instead spend it on the experience of our Gyak Swabhav. To not be liberated, this was the paragraph in between. To not be liberated by this realization of intrinsic independence would signify that we are either want to be controlled, like we are that gulam, enslaved by the need of others to tell us what to do, or we want to control others, which is that kisi ko gulam bana do, or tell others what to do, right? So if we don't want the first part to be liberated fully, then we either want to be enslaved or we want to tell others what to do. So in summary, KBP is a herald for the ultimate freedom. That's the last one. Anant Swatantrata ka Bhushan hai.
And it's interesting here, right? Because in this question, in this answer, I sort of felt that there wasn't, so that part logically makes so much sense, right? But here in that answer, they didn't say too much, I thought, maybe I'm wrong, and please correct me, is where they say that that also that the future is all set. You know that.
Yeah, they didn't mention that in this
here
one.
because here they're emphasizing on the independence of things.
Independence.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought was.
And the independence is evolved through the KBP principle.
Yeah.
Because it's fixed, yet it's independent. Nobody else can do anything about anybody else.
But you would also.
Nobody can do for me, neither can I do for anybody.
Yeah, but that independence principle, I could argue the other way also and say that ek dravya dusra dravya ka kuch nahi karta hai. So that is also an independence principle.
That's also an independent principle, yes.
And I think that's what, yeah.
Yeah, that is what they're saying, the doership, right? That is exactly saying you are freed of the doership principle, right?
Both ways.
Correct.
It works both ways.
Yeah.
And
And that's
I am not doing and nobody is doing.
Correct.
So I am free.
Because the part that is, I mean, I've been having massive, I guess, discussion and arguments with my husband about how can everything be predetermined.
No, see,
are you
that's
for or against?
That is only
Are you on the for
sarvajnata
side
ki
or the
nirnay
against
karna
side
zaruri.
of it? That's the question.
Sorry?
See, now it is predetermined or not. That's the problem. Whenever you have a question, that's another exercise you guys can do. Is that when the question arises, oh my God, how can then write down a few TOS examples which reassure.
Yeah, so
okay. So how is it predetermined when I'm going to die? How is it predetermined that the blood is going to flow through me? How is it like I am not doing anything for the blood to flow through me? Am I doing anything to digest my food? No.
But Prabhaji, sarvajnata agar maan li to ye sab automatic ho jayega. तो ये question नहीं उठना चाहिए.
Yes. Yes. क्योंकि सर्वज्ञ ने बताया है.
हाँ, उससे और क्या चाहिए आपको?
But
इतना सारा बताया, इतना सारा मान लिया.
Prove it to yourself with different examples also. Because then you can say, okay, ये छोटे मोटे life examples से भी जब पता चल रहा है, तो there is no reason to not believe in it if Sarvagya Bhagwan said that.
Yeah, I will tell you one example from my work. We try very hard to for certain results in certain patients, when we are treating patients, and you don't always get the same result in all the people.
You
And
don't,
that
जिसका
is
जो होना है वही होता है.
वही होता hai, and that to me is it's not in my hands at all. It is
Even
what
the
was
science
meant
has
to
to
be for
accept
that
it,
person.
because more arguments than what you can do here, you can argue with the scientists. For example, one of my friends is a dietitian. Okay, I had a degree in food science. I mean, I was in India, I had home science, so I've already studied all these nutrition and how much one protein one needs and all these things. So I was telling her that, well, the reason I did not become a dietitian in this country is because I would have to prescribe meat. So I chose another profession. But the fact still remains that your body needs so much protein, all this USDA requirements, blah, blah, blah. So then I would calculate, if you're vegetarian, तो आपको कितने कटोरी दाल खानी पड़ेगी to make up to that 50 grams of protein that you need to eat. So I was just telling my friend that, I mean, you are a dietitian and now you have to calculate. So non-veg ke liye to wo jo bhi karti hogi kar leti hogi, and she's able to put together whatever protein. I said, how do you do it for vegetarians? She says, you can't. And she said, that's why she says body is an amazing machine. It figures that out itself. Usko jitna jo chahiye wo le leta hai.
Well,
So in spite of studying nutrition, she has to believe there is something beyond those books that just happens.
The outcome is predetermined. It is not in my control.
Exactly.
I am.
Abhi, I mean, I'm sure you guys have all gone through
not
this.
the problem. I don't think I think that everyone understands that part. Well, it's more, not everyone.
Well,
but
they understand, but the ego comes in the way. It's like when things don't go well, we think it happened. When they
correct.
go well, we want all the credit for it. So
I,
what is it? It's just the ego.
no, which
So
is
they
the
do understand that things happen beyond their control.
correct. I
They
think
don't
it's
accept it when they want to get the credit,
no,
or
no.
they want to blame somebody else.
My point, however, being that I think that everybody understands that you can't be married to the outcome. It is what it is. But then taking it one step further and saying that you have zero control of anything in the future, that part becomes, I think, a little harder to
You
understand.
don't have zero control. You still have to work towards it.
And that is where I'm going with it.
Exactly. You don't. You can imagine all you want, that it's I'm controlling, and the end of it is फिर भी जो होना था वही हुआ.
I
And
think
honestly,
you are
pretty much
going to
everybody knows and
continuously.
believes that.
You are continuously making your choices and doing, really,
Yes.
in this lokic sense, because
Correct.
we are all talking about lokic sense.
Correct.
And the thing with that is, you think in this moment this is the right thing, and that's what you control, and the outcome will be what the outcome will be.
Yeah.
So you
And
you
that
see
is
the
because that's
problem is
how-
that it's all imaginary control.
Yeah, it's all it's not there.
It is.
Mhm.
Totally.
But
It's very-
that's the way the world works. That's why we have to operate that way in the world, but operate that way in the world knowing that,
You have no control.
yeah, because what are we wanting control over in the lokic world? There's nothing there
There
for
is
us.
nothing.
It's our only atma. That's it.
Mhm.
तो फिर छोड़ दो वो सब खटपट. ऐसे
Mhm.
लगता है.
It's
Yeah.
easier to let go, understanding these principles.
Yeah, it's easier to let
That's
go.
the bottom line. I mean,
Hmm.
see, once you believe, trust in these principles, life becomes a lot easier.
Much
Oh, yesterday
easier.
I told you guys to remind me of the autopilot mode. Okay.
But that is more
I
for the-
always think of my life as if it's an autopilot mode. Okay. Now, airline pilots, their jobs are considered the most stressful jobs of any jobs in the world, right? Why? Because they're in the air. One slight mistake can make the flight go down, blah, 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 whatever the reason is. Now, whenever they discovered this autopilot mode, which means flight has instruments that capture the surroundings, that capture the view, and it knows where to go, GPS, whatever the case may be. So until the flight goes into autopilot mode, when they're taking off, when they're going, there's two pilots, right? Co-pilot and the pilot. And they both have to be extremely attentive. The door is locked, so nobody can disturb them. That's how attentive they have to be. Now, once the flight is in air, they are able to put it in autopilot mode and go get up and go get coffee, talk to the air hostess, do whatever they want. So do you see the feeling of stress and then complete relaxation once it's in autopilot mode? It's the same thing. We recently bought a Tesla. I so enjoy the autopilot mode of it because I was driving in the highway. I put it in auto mode and cruise पे तो है ही, तो पैर भी काम नहीं कर रहा है, हाथ भी काम नहीं कर रहा है, मजे से गप्पे मारो, मेरा मन हो तो मैं तो टीवी देख लूं, पर वो अलाउड नहीं है उसमें. But the point is that it's so relaxing because I don't have to be scared that मेरा steering थोड़ा भी इधर उधर हो गया तो वो ट्रक से टक्कर लग जाएगी, उधर हिट हो जाएगा. Even if it's a narrow road, once it's in autopilot mode, I'm stress free. I know it's going to take care of it. I know the car is going to turn when it has to turn, when the road is turning. Whereas when I'm in control, I'm scared कि मैं कहीं बातों में लग गई और suddenly turn आ गया तो you miss one little thing and you're gone. So if you could think your life is autopilot mode, how relaxing it would be.
See, that is another way, Prabhaji, that's another way of saying we are puppets.
Uh-huh.
And drama ban raha hai.
Yeah.
हाँ, वो तो there is a movie very long time 70s की कोई
हाँ,
movie
वो
में
राज
एक डायलॉग
कपूर
है
की movie.
कि हम सब कठपुतली है जिसकी डोर
Yeah,
किसी
yeah,
के
it is a
हाथ में
Raj
है,
Kapoor
except
movie.
यहाँ डोर किसी के हाथ में नहीं है.
That's
हाँ.
मिथ्या
also what
statement.
Shakespeare said,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no, that
Shakespeare.
is Shakespeare. That is some Hindi movie, and that it could be a copy of.
He also, both are there. Both are true examples of that.
Yeah.
And that was Mera Naam Joker.
हाँ,
Is that
मेरा
right?
नाम
इसमें
जोकर
था
में
वो,
है
yeah.
वो.
हाँ, but except
But the
उसमें
difference
तो वो
is the
सोचते हैं कि वो
कठपुतली की
डोर
धागे
उसके
है.
भगवान के किसी के हाथ में है, यहाँ डोर किसी के हाथ में नहीं है.
हाथ में नहीं है, वो बस हिल रहा है अपने आप सब
Exact,
कुछ.
which gives you a better relaxation because किसी
Right.
के हाथ में होती, we have to be worried about pleasing that person. अरे यार तेरे हाथ में मेरी डोर है तो तेरे को खुश करूं, तेरी आरती करूं, तेरे प्रसाद चढ़ाऊं, यात्रा करूं. We don't have to do all of that.
ये वस्तु व्यवस्था है ऐसे.
वस्तु बस व्यवस्था है. It is what it is.
I got it.
I still have to do my part, Himal ji.
No,
Nope,
we finished.
We did your part.
Oh,
अब आप
I am
next
ready
class
for-
के लिए
did you
10 और
cover it?
11 करोगे.
Yes, we finished it.
Because when I came and Nipa ji was saying, and I heard भाव शक्ति वाला सब चल रहा था, तो मुझे लगा that part is done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We
it's all
finished
done.
it.
वो सब हो गया है. और डॉली जी को भी नया मिलेगा, तो अब नेक्स्ट क्लास के लिए सीमा
Next
जी
one
आप
will
10-11 करोगे,
जी.
ठीक है?
Okay.
और डॉली करेंगी 12 and 13.
And the rest of them we'll distribute in our
then you
individual
distribute
groups.
amongst the other people.
Got
Oh
it.
my God, 12-13 तो काफी लंबा मिल गया डॉली जी को. Are you okay with it? So this was a good try. We did well. In 1 hour, we did about 10 to 11, 10 pages at least, with a lot of discussion, which is good.
So Dolly ji,
Next class में हम और 8 questions अगर कर सकेंगे, then by the time another 2 more classes, we should be able to finish this book.
good Lord.
Thank you. Prabhaji, we have to do end of class prayer. And then hang
Of course. सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप. सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप. सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप. निज निधि निज में बताई ये अनंत उपकार है. इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है. वंदना शत बार. जय जिनेंद्र.
Jai Jinendra. Thank you, everybody.